Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. There's a lot of people around. I'm in the Spanish village at Balboa Park, and I came here because I wanted to film, well, one, a video at the Tin Can Museum, and then two, I wanted to talk about and reflect upon my travels a little bit, specifically the one from that I had this year as we end the year. I went to Ciudad de Mexico. If you don't know, I posted on YouTube and TikTok all of my um on my channels. I think I also posted on Substack, so that's kind of what happened. I think it's a cute background. Um, this is kind of really public right now. So yeah, and I just went to Studio 49. I think my friend's mom is doing woodwork at that studio, Helen Chung. So if you are into that type of stuff, she makes fantastic tables. Maybe I could post something about that. I'll post it on my Instagram story. um, yeah, and I mean, Ciudad de Mexico, Mexico City was a beautiful city with beautiful art in it. I and there's beautiful music too. The mariachi was very beautiful, very tasteful. I definitely wanted to talk about the machismo because I had some issues. If you were here, you know that I had some issues with the machismo, and it definitely has built up to this because this is the first time I wasn't in, like, this is the first time I was in Latin America by myself. And I think it was bad in Paris, but I've never had it before like that, where I couldn't walk anywhere without getting stared at or yelled at or approached. Um, so yeah, that was pretty sick, and it honestly gives me so much anxiety. It makes me feel not safe, and especially I'm a SoCal girl. Like I'm an LA girl. I'm even in LA. I get approached. People ask me to model. Like I don't want to be disturbed all the time. So that being said, I am looking towards my next move, and I want to go in my mind's eye. It would be really fun to like go to like a cottage, not necessarily in the woods, but in a small, maybe European town. Um, and it'd be very quaint. Uh, I definitely am disturbed by the city, the noise, and the creepy crazies. I think it's not for me. I I need something different. And I'm definitely worthy of the dream life. I just got to get there. And it's already mine, of course. So that's the vision right now. I'd love to do, I mean, south of France is, I think it's about out of the budget. Um, that's the constraint right now. That's what we're working with. And I think I just need to get to, um, I need to get to a European country. I talked to ChatGPT. I think Greece could be a good option. I've already said Greece actually, so I've already spoken it into existence. Um, and it may happen. Already saw the cost breakdown, rent, food, utilities, SIM card. It's not outrageous. I mean, the total cost of living per month would still be less than like rent and everything out here, which is insane. Because rent is crazy, and I don't think it's sustainable, and I don't think it's gonna get any better anytime soon. I think that's gonna be a big fight, and I don't think I have that fight in me. I'm not um I'm not a weapon. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to waste my time on things like that out here. So teaching's going well, and the world's falling apart. Obviously, we all know that. But yeah, I think I have to kind of And that's another thing I need to talk about, detachment. I have to detach from things that I think are going to happen. Like, a lot of students come and go, and I can't be attached to anybody, which I'm definitely like that. I just really have to detach even more from that and just let things flow. Like, be water, be water. So we'll definitely see. I think, my mom isn't quite ready to be on her own yet, and we'll see how it all goes. Hopefully, I think 2026. I think in 2026 I will be out of here. Hopefully. Let's all like keep that in our thoughts and prayers. Yeah. And I loved going to the Frida Kahlo Museum in Mexico City. I loved it. It was such a self-realization moment because I've studied Frida, and I love Frida, and I've heard of the museum and her house and her story. And then when I was there, first of all, it was crowded, which ruined the moment. It upset me because I wanted to take my time, but it was so crowded. There were so many people. And like, you want to feel the house. You want to feel her story, and you can't do that when there's a bunch of people crowding, and like people are like, "Oh, you can only go this way." I got really frustrated. I don't like that. That's not my vibe at all. But yes, her house was beautiful, and I love that she had everything. She was like, "Oh, let me make my like kitchen utensils beautiful and crafty, and like all of these different types of things." Like, it was so creative and artistic. Um and beautiful, of course. I don't know how I feel about Diego Rivera. Controversial figures. I mean, I love Frida, and I understand that he was a big love in her life. I don't know. I know they loved each other. That's fine. And he was fantastic. He was a big muralist. You could go to the Palacio de Bellas Artes, and you could see his murals. They were very political. They were very industrialist. I kind of didn't care for it. I love Frida more. Frida's my girl, and she always will eat down. And I feel like she had so much she had so much to express. She lived a difficult life, and at the same time she was blessed, and I get that. I get that. I relate. And I like that there was a lot of museums. I feel like Ciudad de Mexico, it really gave, like, okay, we were colonized by a European country. They were colonized by the Spaniards, conquistadors, and I understand that. Um, um, yeah, but the machismo, it killed my vibe, and I think I have to think about that when I think about my next long term stay, because I cannot go outside and be harassed constantly. That it it makes me not want to go outside. Like, even when I went to the gay club, like the gay club bouncers were like, "You need to be careful, girl." I'm like, "This is the gay club." But they were right. I did need to be careful because there are straight men at the gay club, and it should be illegal, obviously. Um they should be banned. I don't know why they're there. And they're there just to hit on the girls that are at the gay. I mean, it's sick. And it happens in Hillcrest too, which is sick. It's sick and twisted, and I think it was in the news recently. So sick. Ugh. And if you know me, I am not afraid to grab a man by his neck and tell him to stop pushing on the dance floor. Ugh, disgusting. And it was all the Sig Kais, and we know that Sig Kai got banned because they were sexually harassing every single girl at every single sorority at UC San Diego, and then they all went to freaking Flicks, and they're sat outside at Flicks, and they are going to continue their harassment campaign against the girls. It should be illegal. It should be banned. That's my controversial hot take. If you were in a fraternity, you do not deserve to be on the dance floor. Get off of the dance floor. Especially an elevated surface. Why would a man be there? Why would a man be standing up on the elevated surfaces at the club, at the gay club? I don't get it. It makes me sick. And it happened in Mexico City. Oh my god. And then the gays in Mexico City are like, "Okay, girl, we got to get this guy away from you, girl. Like he's all up in your business." Like, ugh. Ugh. Okay, but the DJ, oh my god, they were fantastic. The DJ was giving Sailor Moon like we follow each other on IG. So fantastic. I want to go back. I feel like I'd want to go back just for the DJ. They were fantastic. And they were so cute. I love the aesthetic. I love the Sailor Moon aesthetic. Yeah. And they love BTS in Mexico. I was like surprised. I was like, you could see BTS like pictures on the walls. They they love BTS in Mexico City. You could go to Mexico City's like center and there's like a K-pop store and it's BTS. And it's like bright lights, it's BTS. It's very interesting. I was surprised. I was like, "What are you doing here?" And they had like an announcement. They had like a poster. It's like BTS is coming back from the army. We're having a big reunion. It's like, okay, there's like serious motion in Mexico City. There's serious motion here. Okay, yeah. But yeah, the machismo. I heard of the machismo. I understand machismo globally, but the machismo out there was horrific. And I talked to my friend about it because she was like, "Girl, yeah, it's not good." And I mean, we get each other. She said, "You have to like, ignore them. The police are there if you need them." But I know these things already. It's just the fact that I have to deal with it. Like I had a whole thing where I like went into a 7-Eleven and immediately I get a whistle. I'm trying to buy groceries at a 7-Eleven. I can't do that in peace. That that perturbs me. It disturbs me to my core. So, that's going to heavily influence my next vibe cuz I like to dress how I dress. I like to look, and I look how I look. I can't control that. And I also can't control other people's perceptions. I can't control other people's ideas and projections. I can't control that. I can only do what I can do. I already like tried to not go outside at night and it was still like too much. Like it was too much. So, yes, a cottage in a small town. A small town with like access to a bigger city. Like I feel like it'd be nice. I don't know. It's hard to even imagine. You could like maybe okay, ideal is you could bus into the city. You could have your night. I wish there was like 24-hour metro, but I know that's like only allowed in Japan. Like it's not feasible anywhere else because culture isn't like that. And then, stay outside in the city. I wish you could have like a friend that crashes in the city, but I need some peace and quiet now. I'm in like a creative mode. I feel like I need to get, you know, in the writer's cottage. Like I need to sit down in the lighting and, absorb it and just get into emotion. But it's impossible when there's always sirens in the city. And there's like I feel like there's an influx of crazies, like people who are like yelling at nothing, and I feel like that just puts you on edge. I feel like that's a very like the fentfold. It's very American. There are crazies everywhere. There are crazies in Berlin, but in Berlin you can like bob and weave around the crazies. In America, the crazies want to come for you. They want to start something. And I think if you start something, we're going to have to finish it. Um cuz I might have to destroy you. And I've definitely gotten that recently. And it's not like I start anything. I'm not looking at these people, but they like catch a vibe and they're like, "Oh, I want to start something." Ugh, I don't like that. That stresses me out. So, yes, a small town in Greece, living alone, living in the quiet. I want to live alone so bad. So bad. And also, I would love a boyfriend. I'm putting it out there again. I know I put it out here for many, many years, and I've tried, and I've lost a couple times, and that's okay. I can lose, but oh my god, like, what is going on? Can we not? Can we, like, can it work out? Whatever. Fine. It's fine. It definitely wasn't going to happen in Mexico City. I feel like I am not attracted to people that are not able to financially support me. I feel like that's something that I think that a man who wants to date me should do. He should be big and strong, and his bank account should also be big and strong, and his brain should be big and strong. He definitely should be funny, and I also think that he should be quiet. Um, that's my favorite thing. So, my friend's birthday is this Saturday afternoon. Interesting time. Saturday afternoon, I'm gonna have to get ready. I'm gonna do my nails. I bought some nail polish, which is like, oh, I've been trying to grow out the nails because I had acrylics after I got roofied out a waterfront. um, and I wanted to make a good impression. I got some nice, it was very, very pretty, like pearl shell nails. So I got this sparkly nail polish. It's very Christmas. It's very Christmas holiday season. And so that's fantastic. And then we'll have to see. I don't know how it's going to be because birthdays are always a an ordeal. You're trying to get so many people together who don't know each other for you for an occasion, and you're the host and the main subject. It's just exhausting. That's why I always split my birthday. I always do, okay, we're doing a myself. I'm going to get a massage. Oh, I'm gonna get a massage. I'm gonna do something special. I'm going to do another day with just my friends that like to stay indoors. So, like, friends that like to watch a movie or go to a nice dinner. And then friends that want to go to the club and like get really drunk and throw up somewhere. That's like a whole different, you know, ball game. And then my mom, of course, family. And you have to divide it. You can't have everybody all together all at once. It's just too much. So we'll see. I I have a tendency to dislike my friends, and my friends know that I don't like their friends in a almost predictive way. Like, I've had friends that are like, "Oh yeah, you wouldn't like her." And like I'm like, "Yeah, I probably wouldn't like her." Um so we'll have to see. I don't I really don't care at the end of the day. Like, this isn't my business. But yeah, that's what we're moving into in this weekend. And then it's Christmas, so I also want to do another video around UTC and UC San Diego because I feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I said this, but one of my ex-boyfriends from freshman year looked at my LinkedIn profile, and I was literally triggered. I was like, "What are you doing here? Get off of my internet." Sick, disgusting. And he's the one who broke up with me 3 times. Like, why would you? That's enough. Enough. I'm We've closed the chapter. No more. But it's been enough time. I think I have, what is it, the statute of limitations. I definitely have, enough years on all of the insanity that happened in uni that I could talk about those friendships and relationships that fell apart dramatically. And so that's my sneak peek at what I'll be talking about. And then, of course, like shopping and like store favorites. I've talked about Heidi Lau enough and the trauma of Heidi Lau. Yes, I think that video kind of blew up because I got money from the Heidi Lau lawsuit, the settlement. And honestly, that wasn't even my settlement because there was a sexual harassment lawsuit at the Heidi Lau at UTC, and it was not the one listed. I didn't know any of the names in the case, which is fantastic because Heidi Lau is being sued again and again and again and again, which is hilarious because they deserve it. Because they treated me like, and they're hiring, they're lying, obviously, right? So yeah, and I would go back to Ciudad de Mexico. I would go back. I would return. I wouldn't loiter. I think I would go to the pyramids. I would go to the pyramids. I would do some shopping. I just the machismo was insane, and it's not gonna work for me. So, and maybe I have to stay in a different place. Well, I was staying in really nice areas. That's the other thing. Like, I was staying in the expat areas, and I was still being like constantly bothered. I don't want to be bothered. I hate being bothered. It disturbs me, obviously. Um, yes. So yes, I'll have to go back to Tenochtitlan. I would go back for the pyramids, which I didn't do, which I've been wanting to do that since Guatemala. But in Guatemala, to get to the pyramids, you have to go off the beaten path. It takes like a bus ride, and to get to Lago Atitlan was already an insane trip. Like we just were randomly what is it, shepherded. We were herded like cattle into a van, and we just trusted them. We were like, okay, I guess, guy. Which is always how it's like when you step off the airplane into the airport. There's people yelling at you, like, do you want a SIM card? Do you need a taxi? And that's enough. Like, it's enough of that. And then I think there's some other cities that I would want to visit in Mexico. I've obviously need to go to Oaxaca. Everybody talks about Oaxaca. I think I've also Cabo's on the list just for funsies. What else? Is Cancun down there? Yeah, just for funsies. Spring breakers. I never did it for spring break. I don't know what I was doing for spring break. Decomposing probably. Um, and then there's another one. I don't know if it's like Guadalajara. I think it is. I think it's Guadalajara. Oh, we got a crying baby. Oh, crying baby. Upset crying babies. There's been a lot of crying babies today. I was at Costco. There was a screaming baby at Costco too. I wonder what's going on. Something's in the air. Um, something's in the air. Upset babies at Costco. Anyways, baby's happy now. Yes. So yes, Guadalajara. And I think that'd be fine. Honestly, it's a lot of beach. It's a lot of beach. Um, which I've done enough. I've done a lot of beach already in my life. I got beached out in Thailand, and by the time I got to Malaysia, I was like, I've had enough beach. I'm actually broke. I need to make money right now. So, and that's why I was so upset with that French dude in Malaysia. I like couldn't stand being at the beach with him because I'm like, we've done beach. We've beached. We beach. What's next? Um, yeah. I guess Greece is more beach, but Greece is like beach on the city beach, which is different than just beach. Like resort beach is different than a, a village on the shores. I think that's a different experience. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I'm wearing earrings that my friend Rachel got me a long time ago, and then shirt and jeans I think are from Nordstrom Rack. Baby's looking at me. Yes, so that's kind of what I'm moving towards. It's transportation, it's rent, or place to stay, and we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully, teaching will continue to grow and be good. It's been good, and I know it's just an awkward time of the year. I think it's just I got here at the end of the year, and maybe a lot of people will be looking for teachers, so I think that'll be good. Because people have like New Year's resolutions they're trying to make, or deadlines and tests and projects and meetings and collaborations they're trying to do. So I think that could be good. I'm also hoping that the nonprofit work will come to fruition. We'll have to see. I think we just don't know. I think I believe. I just am not in on the nitty gritty details, which maybe I don't need to be in on the nitty gritty details, and that's fine. And then yeah, I think honestly my shorts have been kind of popping off these days. I don't know. I'm not trying to compare, but I've already surpassed my goal for the week, and then I I think I could get my goal. Um, Another goal. I have a couple goals, like follower goals. I don't have any view goals. I honestly didn't have any goals. So it's kind of nice to set something up and then surpass it. So we'll see. I guess there's a lot of growth to be done. There's a lot of learning as well. And I think I'm getting better. Um, I think I already had a lot of good baseline understanding and skills to, do social media and, post to multiple platforms or make creative content and things like that. And I think I'm just trying to continue on. I think that's the message that I've been getting. Continue. And I think I said this, that I've talked to people, business mentors, and they also are saying, I think you're doing fantastic. Continue. So that's what I got to do. I did pull some cards, um, and they were interesting. I couldn't quite grasp the message, but I think the message is bigger than me, which is exactly why I couldn't grasp it. I think I think something big is coming. And if you agree, or if you've seen something, if you've had a vision, if you've been talking to something, they might let you know. I think something very big is coming. I pulled the hangman. I've been pulling the world and the tower. Um, so I think it's out of my control, but I do think there's a huge shift in the world yet again. I think it's been a long time coming, but the transformation is inevitable. And where everybody lands after is yet to be known, by us at least. I'm huge on the co-creation now, so I think that's what I'm going to focus on. And you can keep your faith and you can trust and all of those things. So yeah, let me know what you're focusing on. I still think I'll do like an end of the year and then looking forward type of video. I did that last year. Oh my gosh, yeah, last year when I got fired, I think it still comes up because it's related to work and identity, and everybody talks about the government all the time and their terrible moves. So yeah, that's kind of my plans closing out the year, wrapping up the year. I think I'm going to also be going to Coronado with my mom and try to look at the lights and the hotel. And then for Christmas, we're not really religious. We're not really anything, honestly. But culturally, Jewish people don't celebrate Christmas, so they eat Chinese food because that's what Chinese restaurants are open. And I think that's a good tradition that we have. So we'll do that. And Chinese food is really good. And they're open on Christmas. And I remember last year this place that we go to, I forget the name. It's like something cafe, like Corner Cafe, I think. And I remember going in to pick up our order, and I remember they were super busy, and I said, "Oh, um are y'all busy?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, we've been so busy today." And then I said, "Yeah, it's because it's Christmas and all of the Jewish people order Chinese food on Christmas because they don't celebrate Christmas. It's like Jewish and Chinese people are like that." So, that's kind of how it is. Um, but I also know it's really high in sodium, the dietary factors I need to think about for me and my mom. Oh, and then I think my friend, oh my gosh, Lefrin from, okay, we studied in Paris together, and he was, okay, if I lived with all the sorority sisters, Efren and Lepati, Lefranc and Lepati, lived with the fraternity brothers, and we hated that, like the counterparts. So they hated the fraternity brothers and I hated the sorority sisters, and they were the worst people. And we would all get together and like be really catty and petty, and I don't know. It was just like a bitch fest. It was such a bitch fest. It was a diva off, and I don't know, it just spiraled out of control. I remember, oh, I don't know if I can be sharing their stories because iconic moment. Well, first of all, they got robbed in Paris. They got Their home was broken into, and there was like the whoever broke into their home, they like made a total mess. And I remember it was so dramatic. I think they only stole like $50, 50 US dollars. And oh my gosh, I don't know. I'll keep it light. I won't go into the details of it, but I remember one of the guys got upset. Oh my gosh, that Lepatty was gonna sleep in his own room because he was like, my girlfriend is visiting Paris. And he thought Lepatty was gonna be with like family or something. But then Lepatty was like, I'm gonna sleep in my bed in my room that I paid for. And then this guy was like upset at him, like, oh my gosh, first of all, you're so annoying and you're so self-important, and no one fucking likes you. In fact, everyone dislikes you because you're stupid and wrong. And this was like, I wasn't even a part of this conversation. I had no beef. I had no beef with this guy. We were very cordial. Like, we had really good, relations. There was nothing wrong. But apparently he was a Republican. And you're in Paris on a youth social justice program studying in Paris, France, and you're going to start talking about feminism? Wrong. Wrong. And I think he was like, there. I wasn't in this class. I only heard about it from my friends. Oh my god. But I think there was like literally like fighting in the class. Like, people were speaking up and being like, "You're wrong." Oh my gosh, yeah, that was a really savage and brutal program. A recap of the girls that I used to live with. I think they were weirdly. I think they were weirdly racist, which is so hard to think about when like you are a person of color and then you don't like people, like you have a like a thing against them. And they would make these group chats, which I have such a thing about group chats. I'm very sensitive about a group chat because you should include everybody in your group chat. And then if you don't include someone in your group chat, why are you not including that person in your group chat? So we're four girls in a dorm in an apartment, and they include everybody except one girl into the group chat. And this girl was like, I think she was Mexican. I think she had darker skin, which is like, it shouldn't matter. I mean, well, we can paint a colorful picture. And then one of the girls was the sorority girls was the sisters. One of them was from Colombia, and she was big on I'm from Colombia, but she's like from Palo Alto, which is horrific. And then I think she went to UC Santa Barbara. Yeah. There's something about UC Santa Barbara which they're friendly people, but they're not like there's no depth to them, and it makes them like cycle in the party superficial lifestyle. And even if they don't like it, they get caught up in it and they can't escape it, which is really, really sad. I've had to end a lot of friendships like that because okay, you are feeding your cycles and you're, self-sabotaging anything good, and your destructive cycles are harming, your relationships. And I don't want to be there when your boyfriend kills you, bro. Like I don't want to be there. Like I can't be there. Um and I would have to be like, "No, enough. Enough of this." Yeah, my friend had her ex-boyfriend like violently break in, which I think if like a partner is breaking into a home, I think that's such a violation. I think that's an immediate no. I think we must end it because it doesn't stop once they break into your home. And first of all, why would you break into someone's home, period? Why are you busting down a door? It's so strange. Call the police. I'm calling the police. Um, and I told my friend, you need to call the police. This man is going to hurt you. And she was just like, oh, she was so, ugh. She just didn't want to listen. And, he wasn't that cute. Ugh. So it's just like, ugh, what the heck? Sick. Um, yes. So, anyways, those sorority sisters at UC Santa Barbara, when we were studying in Paris, they were hated not only by the general public, so all of the other school people that I was at school with. And honestly, it took me a while for me to come around and be like, okay, these are not good girls. These are not girls that I want to spend my time with because they were nice to me. And I think that's always my mistake. When people are nice to me, it doesn't necessarily mean they're good people. They're people I want to be around. Um, and so it took like other girls, other sorority sisters in the program to be like, "Hey, so why are these girls acting like this? I can't believe you live with them. I can't believe I wouldn't be able to deal with that." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm seeing it from your perspective. Unfortunately, I live with them. I have to be nice to them." And I stopped that. Um, but yeah, it was really too much. And it got to the point that actually the teachers, like the professors, were had enough of them. And these are, what are we? We had to have been. I think most of us were third years. Um, so we're not people who are pushing. We shouldn't be pushing professors. Like, if you're a third year, if you're a second year, there's no need to push a professor. I think if you're a graduate student, you can push a professor, because the professors can be irresponsible and full of shit. And that's coming from somebody who worked with professors. Um, and also, like, a lot of people in graduate school have already been very successful in their careers and, are coming back to graduate school to get some more. skills or another degree or something like that. There was a lot of pushing. That's something I want to talk about maybe when I go back and talk about my experience, because oh my gosh, maybe another preview. We had a final in econ. This was like during the ooh squirrel. This was like during the I guess the teetering off of the COVID, so people were still at home, and we had the most annoying guy. This is an econ class, so if you're thinking base level econ annoying, think of a graduate level econ annoying, and this is the program. He was the most annoying guy. I won't say his name, but he was so annoying. Everyone hated him. Everyone hated him. He was like this little man. Oh my gosh, he was so little. And he would be relentless in asking just annoying questions. And you know, there might be no stupid questions, but you know, there are definitely stupid sources. And he was incredibly try hard and wrong. And I think during the final, so we're taking some 3 hour final that everyone's gonna cry during, because this is what econ was it? I think it was just like macroeconomics. And the annoying guy, he asks a bunch of questions already. We're all like on our computers like trying to take this test that, none of us have learned anything this quarter because it's been an online quarter and we're just fighting for our life. And I don't think I could some of the questions I just wrote like the number 30. I couldn't even understand what they wanted me to get to. And I remember the professor, this is like the dean, or maybe he was the associate dean at the time. I'm not dropping names because I know there's other drama. There's actually huge drama that I can't say because it was actually insane drama. But there's corruption at all levels, obviously. And this guy, the professor said, "Colin, just shut up and take your test." It was so good. Oh my gosh. I wish somebody recorded that. Oh my god, it's so good. I think the same guy in the next quarter got that during the accounting and finance, because the accounting finance professor was atrocious. He was an SDSU professor. Well, first of all, stop. Like SDSU and UCSD are different worlds. And he was teaching. He wasn't teaching at all, actually. There was just a textbook, and I took the test, and I don't know, I got a terrible grade, and it was ridiculous. It was all multiple choice online. It wasn't like a real thing. I remember, I think that guy was also like, annoying guy, can you just shut up? It's incredible. So yeah, that's the push between the students and the professors. I'm glad, like, you know, I was asked this question recently by my friend that's having their birthday this Saturday. Do you ever not like any of your students? And immediately I said, I'm sure, but I've had like, at this point, I think hundreds of students, and I can't recall everyone individually. But they're definitely, and it's obviously reflective of something else. Especially if they're young students, like I've taught middle school. If they're young, it's reflective of the family, and if they're older, then it's not something that I can deal with. Like if it's an older student that's trying to push, like I can't. There's nothing for me to do. So yeah. So that'll be exciting. I think it'll be good. Oh, there was so much drama. We had like a quarterly war every single quarter. So there's fall quarter, winter quarter, spring quarter. There would be like a huge dorm fight, and everybody would be fighting, and we'd have to get the RAs involved, and the boys were fighting, and the girls were fighting, and people are breaking up and getting back together and trying to throw themselves off the top of the building. It was so freshman year. So freshman year. So exciting. Okay, yeah. I think that's all I have to say. I feel like, honestly, a city is a city, you know? Like Mexico City, Bangkok, Beijing, Tokyo, Paris, London, Barcelona. I feel like there's always a city vibe. There's always like you're crossing the street, you go to a food court, you go to the museum, you go to the park, and that's kind of how it is. I I don't know if I would go back to Mexico alone. I feel like that was a really I would go back with Brenda. Brendita, my Brenda. I would definitely go back to Mexico with somebody who is more local than I was because I was just, a victim every time I stepped out. And I'd love to have fun. My friend said when we went to December nights, my friend went with her friend. They went together and they did all the touristy things, which I think is really fun. But it's also like I want to like my favorite part about traveling slow and staying for a couple months or a couple weeks in a place is like you get to like frequent a bar, you get to like situate yourself. You're not rushing to hit a tourist attraction, which, you see a temple, you see a castle, you see a cathedral, you see a park, you see a mall. Like you've seen a lot of them. You see a museum. Um and it gave there was a moment that it really gave like, oh, this is Paris, baby. Like it gives like, okay, let's have a 10-hour lunch and cigarette break and let's enjoy the outside, which was nice. I think I enjoyed that. So yeah, I think that's all. Thank you so much. Drop what mm, your next big move is. So we're looking towards the end of the year. We're looking towards 2026. What's the move? What's the motion? Um, Let me know, and you can, of course, like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, love you. Bye.